When you plant Wyffels Hybrids, you're making a statement that independence and family-owned means something on your farm. So make your choice. Plant your independence. Plant Wyffels.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of InCYde Zone presented by Wyffels Hybrids and sponsored by our friends, Iowa State University Ivy College of Business. Iowa State took care of business 20-0 on the road against Houston. They're officially number 16 as of today in the AP poll, and they are 4-0 for the first time since 2000. So walked out of that with some fun things to celebrate. How do you guys feel about it? How are we feeling?
4-0. Tough to be mad about that.
Yeah, you can't be mad about that. No matter how it comes, 4-0 is 4-0, and you move on to the next week looking to get better from the things that you learned from the past 4 weeks. So can't be mad.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we heard our whole time at Iowa State, you only have 12 guaranteed opportunities in college football, and to win is a hard thing to do. So getting a win, especially on the road at night. It didn't look like there was too many Houston fans there, but you know,
No,
it's still good to get a road win, and especially to start off Big 12 play. So
I think there was honestly it looked like a pretty decent crowd for Iowa State. So I was pretty impressed with those people who showed up.
Cyclones
sounds like there was quite a few Cyclone fans, maybe equivalent number of Cyclone fans to Houston fans.
It sure looked like it, but I mean, you can't really decipher when both teams are wearing red.
You know, Cyclones are going to get out there no matter what.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter where.
We're everywhere. Cyclones everywhere.
Literally.
So as of today, Iowa State's officially the highest ranked team in the Big 12. BYU's number 17, Utah's number 18, and Kansas State is number 20. So how do you guys feel about just looking at one game under Big 12 plays notched? How did you guys ultimately feel about how Iowa State did in the game?
You know, I think for Iowa State, it's a good game to have a little mishaps here and there. I don't really think Houston was a great team at all. I didn't really watch any of the other games, but judging by scoreboards and stuff like that, I didn't think there was a great team. So it's a good game to have, you know, some mishaps, and that can lead to better results in the near future. So I always, you know, adversity. Campbell loves it. The quote in the team meeting rooms like, adversity is the companion of the champion and the enemy of the weak. So adversity is a good thing, and you can get better from that. You learn and grow. Watch the film. But you know, as a fan, it was kind of hard to watch. At some points yesterday, you'd like to see a little more better start. And but you know, at the end of the day, when you win a game, it's always a good thing. But there's a lot of things to improve, and it was good learning lesson, I think, for a lot of people. And hopefully they took that film today and are getting back on track for next weekend.
I like the new Big 12. I mean, let's be honest here. Iowa State's ranked number 1 of all the teams in the Big 12. So that's a cool opportunity for Iowa State to continue to dive into. I think that sets us up well. Obviously getting some momentum here early. 2000 or something like that. The last time Iowa State was 4-0. Is that right, Jackie?
Mm-hmm.
So
2000.
so a lot of cool things that we can look at there. Coach Campbell setting his name at top of the record books, obviously. He's had a lot of players that have done that as well, so that's awesome. But as far as the game goes, yeah, I think obviously we'd all like a little bit hotter start. It's tough to go out on the road and play a team maybe that you know is not going to be as good as what you expect.
Absolutely.
That's honestly the difference between a good team and a great team, right? Like, can they go down and play to their level, or can they go out there and dominate? So I kind of hope Iowa State continues to go out there and dominate games like they did in the second half there and get the offense rolling. But yeah, I mean, Houston came off getting blown out too with a new staff, so I'm sure they were laying into them a little bit, and they had some motivation to go out there. So obviously 20-0. It's been a while since we've won a blowout on the road in conference play, so that's good to see. But certainly a lot of things that we can go back and get better at.
It was 1971, if you're curious.
There we go.
Oh man.
Shutting out a conference opponent.
Holy
Goose
cow.
egg on the, you know, as I mean, we all sit here as offensive guys saying that we could have had a better start, but obviously one side of the ball had a really good start and a really good finish as well. So, I mean, shout out to that defense. I mean, for an offense to struggle only scoring 3 points in the first half, you're lucky to have a defense that doesn't allow the other team to score, so you can pick up your momentum still. And, you know, just because you have mishaps there, you're still in the game. I mean, you're still winning. Now it's just about that next drive, just trying to take it down the field and put points on the board. And I mean, that second half they came out ready to go. It was night and day difference from the first half. There was obviously still some mishaps in the second half, and you'll have that. But like Jake said, this is one game that it's like we can have those mistakes and still win. Some coaches like it better that way, so people can see the mistakes instead of, you know, the same thing happening over and over again, and then later on in the season where it's against teams that aren't going to be putting up 0 points against those types of teams, and you can make those changes and get it fixed for those games.
Yeah, one point I want to make real quick on the Big 12, and it's easy as fans, especially us now, to look ahead and be like, oh man, we might end up in Houston or in Utah undefeated. But I mean, for the guys in the locker room, you got to take it one week at a time. You can't really look at anything else, whatever happened. Arizona beating Utah, stuff like that. You just got to focus on Baylor now. It's the biggest game of the year right now is Baylor.
And it's a whiteout.
And it's a white. Oh,
that's
we might talk about that a little bit later. But I mean, I'm gonna have goosebumps all day or all week for sure. I can't wait for that. But look at that.
That game isn't sold out yet, is it?
Oh,
I haven't seen anything yet.
I don't think it's sold out yet. But
go buy your tickets. Tell your friends.
Yeah, buy tickets, get your gear, fill the stadium up.
I heard
that does matter.
Oh, absolutely does. I heard we're having one of those like drone shows or whatever, and the white pom poms
and fireworks. We're getting it all.
I already got goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
Let's get to 5-0.
Yeah, but you know, back to the point is like, yeah, as a player, it's gonna be a fantastic week. Those are the games you look forward to. Like, all right, I know the fans are gonna be juiced. I know Ames will be rocking. So it's a good thing to look forward to, and maybe get a little extra confidence boost. You know, you're going back in the Jack for Big 12 opener with a whiteout. Like, how cool is that?
Well, and before I bring up, obviously, Matt Campbell's huge accomplishment, it's such a like consistent athlete mentality. It doesn't matter the sport. I feel like every single sport team that I have been around, it's always the next one is the biggest one. It's the most important. It doesn't matter who it is. Like, is that something that's instilled in you guys from the moment you become athletes? Like, how do you get yourselves to actually buy into that?
I don't think you get to the college level without having that. Like, without gaining that somewhere along the line. Like, complacency is the worst thing that could happen for any team, any player. When you just start thinking about, oh, we won, we're 4-0 now. Yeah, but you could be 4-1 real quick. You could be 4-2 faster than that. So I think it's just for any sport, you're always thinking on to the next one because you as a player, you know what you did wrong in the games before. You know the things that you need to work on. You know that it's not going to get any easier from here on out. So it's just coming to truce with that and moving on the next week and just trying to get better. And that's all you can do as a player is just try to get better and continue to do that.
I think that Iowa State's kind of a unique place. Obviously, every college football program is going to be similar, but when you engulf yourself in as much film study and practice and like all you think about for one entire week is going to be going out and playing Houston. Now this week it's going to be all about Baylor, right? Like it's Sunday, they watch a film of last night's game. Monday they're going to practice and it's literally saying, okay, what does Baylor do? How do they do it? And as those coaches, I mean, that's like all they're doing all day. So all they can think about this week is Baylor. So you're going to weights, you're thinking all this stuff. You're watching so much film on like, hey, Baylor, what do they do? What does their third down look like? Who's their players? What is it going to take to win this game? All you think about is Baylor. That's the only thing on their mind. There may be some guys in the locker room maybe that aren't playing as much where they have a little more free time to think about, oh, Iowa State's 4-0, this is sweet, things like that. But typically by the time you start contributing, like you are so consumed between school, getting your extra film study in at home, and maybe like a little bit of time of like, hey, decompress, whatever it may be. But like all your mind can think about this week, because all we're going to talk about is Baylor. Hey, you're going to watch 40 hours of film this week on Baylor. So it's pretty easy just to be like, all right, I don't have an option but to think about like, hey, this is the most important game.
Yeah.
To add on to that, to break it down even more, you kind of hit on new. The season is so long and it takes so much out of you. You kind of have to work day by day. It's easy to say it's Baylor week. Well, as a player, you're like, okay, what do I have tomorrow? What's Monday? What's Monday look like for me? Then what's Tuesday look like for me? And you might not even really be thinking about the game until Thursday or Friday when we have our, Thursday and Friday practices, those are always fun. But it takes a lot out of you, so you can't really afford to look forward to anything other than the next day, because the next day is going to take so much away from you and out of you that you really got to stay locked into what do I need to do on Monday to make sure I can go out and beat Baylor? What do I need to do on Tuesday to make sure I can go out and beat Baylor? So it's a long season, and you kind of, that's at least what I did. I broke my days down. So
all the days are like so similar.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You have to stay present, or you'll miss out on the little things from day to day. Like, I mean, Jake hit it on the nail. Like you have to go day by day. You can't go week by week. I mean, as a fan, we can go week by week because we don't see the practices in between the week and everything like that. We're just worried about that Saturday. They got to come to practice Tuesday and Wednesdays. Those are, I mean, obviously the most important practices of the week, but they got to be locked in on those days, and then hone in on the details on Thursdays and Fridays to get ready for the game on Saturday.
Like it doesn't matter if you're playing let's say Drake on Saturday or Alabama. Tuesday practice is still going to look the same. Wednesday practice is still going to look the same. You're going to watch their third down package we watch everyone's third down package. So it's just kind of funny, like things like that. It's very consistent.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is everything's so regimented. Monday, you're going to lift at the same time. You're going to have everything the exact same. Tuesday is going to be the exact same day, exact same practice structure, just maybe, a couple different like things you're going to hit on. But everything's so regimented that it's like, hey, let's just roll.
Has it been hard now that you guys aren't in that like routine? Was it hard to adjust to not having that type of structure, or what's that been like for you guys?
It's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah, I miss having a structure. At
the same time, I try to keep it structured, as a working man now. I try to have the same lunch every day. I try to, take my lunch at the same time. Like I'm just so wired. I feel like at this time I got to do this. At this time I do this, and which helps you out in like once you're done playing. Like not a lot of people have that kind of system going on in their head. So yeah, but yeah, it for sure carries over.
It's a lot easier when someone's telling you though, like, hey, you gotta be here, or you're gonna be like running, or you're gonna be doing something like
100%.
that.
You're getting texts from the nutritionist telling you that you gotta be at dinner.
Yeah, I might show up a couple minutes late to work, and I'm like, oh gosh, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna have to do bear crawls because I'm late for my office job. No, but.
Well, like I said, Matt Campbell, big accomplishment. He's officially the winningest coach in Iowa State history. Aiden, I asked him to pull up a video. I wanted to show the video Iowa State put out of Coach post-game in the locker room when Bo Freeler gave him the game ball after accomplishing the win. I don't know if Aiden has that.
I love you,
but
I couldn't be prouder of you. Okay, RJ, I'm going to let you kind of give us a prayer out of here, and we'll get ourselves rolling.
Hey, hold on, one thing.
Coach, let's go!
And the rest of the 7 million, Coach, we appreciate you. All that you sacrificed, man. It means the world to us, man. I don't know where we'd be without you, Coach, man. Record. Man, hell yeah. Dog. Winning this coach in Iowa State.
Listen, I do appreciate it, but what makes football special, right? Literally, it's never about one person. Man, Coach Haycock's been here every step of the way. Coach Rashid's been here every step of the way. Mouse has been here every step of the way. Man, you win with great people. Man, Kyle's been here every step of the way. Man, some of you former players that have come back. You guys, this is what makes it special. And I appreciate it, and tonight's awesome. I'll remember it, and I appreciate it. But that's not what it's about. What it's about is you guys.
That's cool. That was really cool.
That just goes to show all
Have
those
you guys
people
seen
since
that?
he's leaving. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. I got a little emotional watching it, to be
I was
honest.
say, does it make you cry?
Not cry, but
In your
No,
feelings.
we ain't-
yeah,
I think it just goes to show his
obviously-
loyalty.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's a big time milestone for him, and he puts it back on, Haycock and Rashid and Kyle
Mouse.
and all those guys that have been there right there with them, and that just shows you the type of person he is, and it was really cool.
Yeah, man. And I mean, I remember going on visits to other places, and other coaches were trying to tell me that as a selling point to not go to Iowa State is that Coach Campbell wasn't going to be there very long.
All the time.
They would just try and, I mean, back then everybody was saying that, right? I mean, everybody except everybody that was in the building thought that Campbell had a chance to go. And I mean, he could have gone, and he could have gone plenty of times, and a lot of programs or NFL teams would have been lucky to have him. But the loyalty that he showed to Iowa State, loyal son forever true. He embodies that totally.
Absolutely. The amount of players on recruiting trips, like at other places. We really like Coach Campbell too. Great staff, great program. But do you really think he's going to be there for 5 years? and I was like, yeah, of course I do. But a lot of other people couldn't get that across their minds. So
I committed when they had this first season, so people weren't saying that then.
no, you weren't going anywhere else. But
There wasn't anywhere else I was going either.
He said, "I'm gonna stay at home."
it doesn't matter who was coaching Iowa State, man.
No, it's like I'm staying home no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm driving across town.
Yeah.
Well, when you guys look back at those moments when you were, making that decision, what made you feel so solidified in choosing to play under Campbell?
Oh, there's so many different things. It just felt like a family, and his personality, the way he treated, my grandma when my grandma would go on visits. Like not a lot of people do that, and not only that, remembered her name. And
Same.
Imagine how many people he has to know and remember recruiting, and for him to remember my grandma's name was just out of this world. So I mean, there's just so many examples like that, and it really came into fruition as a player. Who he was in recruiting was exactly who he was as a coach. I think back to me and Jirehl's little scandal last fall, and he was always there for us. He had our back, and he was the same guy. He doesn't change. And at the end of the day, he's a football coach, but I mean, there's more love than just him coaching us as players, but leading us as people. So.
Yeah, I think
Jake,
what's cool about Coach Campbell is that he's so loyal to his people. He goes all out. He does everything for his people. He cares about them. He loves them. I think it's something that we can all strive to be a little more like. So I think everyone in his program, what they feel, how they feel it, matters to him. And I mean, whenever you see the guy, he's always asking hey, how's your mom? How's your dad? How's your siblings and things like that. And he's got every reason in the book to not have to worry about that. He's got to go out and win a football game. He's got to recruit. He's got to do all this stuff. But it's so important to him, and he makes people so important to him that's what's important to him. He's so able to compartmentalize. He gives you 100% focus when you're with him for that 5-10 minute conversation that you have. That a lot of people are okay, I'm here, I'm talking to you, but my mind is somewhere over here, and it'd be so easy for him to do that. But he takes the time to truly say, hey, that's not the most important thing right now. I'm talking to a former player, or I'm talking to a friend, whatever it may be, which is just kind of so cool about who he is.
Yeah, I mean, kind of similar to what Jake said, just knowing everyone. I remember during COVID, my grandma had passed away, and my grandma and him, whenever my grandma would come to visits, my grandma and Coach Campbell would have great talks all the time. And I remember during COVID, she passed away, and I was at the wake, and there was flowers there from Coach Campbell and his wife. And, you know, just like that family feel where it's like, no matter where you are, he was always kind of just looking out for you and making sure that you were all right. So, I mean, the reason why I went to Iowa State was because of Coach Campbell, and, you know, the people that he kept around him were all very similar to him, and how they treated people, and you know, how they wanted the best for you no matter what.
When you guys look back, I know Remsburg, you had some funny stories. Is there anything you look back on that you just hold close that are some fun memories to look back on about Coach Campbell?
I mean, there's a lot, but you know, every game he'd come into our hotel room. I'll never forget this. And he would always have some little theme to his hotel room visits. But every time he'd ask me, like, what movie you guys watching tonight? I'm like, I don't know, whatever's on TV, whatever. He's like, and I remember vividly one time it was a Matt Damon movie, and he walks in, he's like, is that Matt Damon? He's like, oh, love that guy. Great actor. And I was like, there's just those little things like that where he's got some jokes to him. So there's a lot of fun memories, fun times being coached by him. And I know last week we talked about the music. Music was always a big thing. But let's not forget about his team meetings. I mean, by the time you're a fifth year, you can pretty much tell everyone what's about to be said. And, you know, he'll probably throw up a clip of some quote or something or some speech. And as a fifth year senior, you're probably sitting there like, oh, yep, seen this one.
This again.
Or all of his poems. Yep, this one. Yep, seen this one. So
you don't even need the paper to read off. You already know what it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. My heart. I'll never forget the Man in the Mirror poem. I could probably tell it to you right now.
I was gonna say, which one's your favorite?
There's so many. I think the Man in the Mirror it's gotta be, or what's his one saying? Faith will deliver the crown or something like that. I don't know. There's so many.
I don't know. That was a while ago for me.
He had so many one-liners. That dude had more one-liners, but that's like it was so consistent. That was what was so cool about his messages. Is like it was so consistent. Everything that dude does is so consistent in his life, and that bleeds over to everybody. So, stories for me, definitely those hotel room visits were always a blast. Trevor and I lived together after that. And man, oh man, he would just come in. Some days he was like, hell, when he was like on some shit.
Oh yeah.
He would come in and he'd just be wide stance, and his wide stance that he gets in starts to bend over. But yeah, just the consistency that guy used to have was just unbelievable.
I'm sure the more we talked about this, the more we could go on and on.
Oh
about
my
stories.
God.
Oh yeah.
Some of the stories like Bryce Meeker, he would always he was on field goal, and we'd always start off our practices with field goal. Indy. There's so many things like that he always had to sing, or he'd like go with somebody on something, and it was always just hilarious. Everyone would just die laughing.
The Meeker stuff was always the best. Oh my gosh. Never.
Or when he'd kick somebody out of not kick somebody out of practice, but a starter or something would be out there messing it up, and he'd kick him out, and he'd go in there and block or something himself. He was like, "This is how you do it."
Yeah.
It's like, all right, coach, he's still getting it. All right, coach.
I always love when it'd come like do offensive line stuff, because like Coach Manning or Coach Myers would be like, "Hey, this is how you do it," or whatever. And then like he'd be all juiced up that day, and he would just come down there and he would just everything he could into like some sort of punching drill or something. It was awesome.
Oh, dude, don't even get me on punching drills. Sometimes we'd be doing like ball handling drills and making sure that we weren't fumbling and stuff, and he'd come through with pads and just punching us, like not even going for the ball, just
Oh, the O-line drills were classic. They're classic. I remember those for sure.
Well, Rob Gray, who's the senior writer here at Cyclone Fanatic, put out a tweet about something Dan McCartney said about Matt Campbell that I wanted to read to you guys. He tweeted that Dan McCartney said, "He's about as genuine as the day is long. He's authentic. He's a gift to all of us who love Iowa State." Coach Mack is going to be at the game on Saturday.
Let's
go.
So
Let's go.
They'll get a good pregame
Yeah.
speech then. Probably
Yeah.
like Thursday night. He'll come
Yeah.
and talk to the players.
Yeah.
That was always the classic.
Yeah.
he, last year when he was at the game, he was on the sideline with a red Solo cup in hand. So I don't know what was in the cup, but I took a
Nice.
picture of him just chilling on the sideline with a red Solo cup. So hoping to catch him again. Another
Yeah, some bourbon in there.
fact out of this game. Yeah, probably. This win was the 5th straight conference road victory dating back to last season, which was never previously accomplished in program history. And like I said earlier, this was the first time shutting out a conference opponent on the road since 1971.
That's
So
impressive.
I'm sure that felt good to get. The other question I was going to ask before we get into more of the actual gameplay was, with Iowa State being 4-0 for the first time since 2000, what were you guys doing in the year of 2000? I was 5.
Being born.
Personally.
I was being born.
Yeah, I was
Born in the year 2000.
I was also born in the year 2000, so
I was born in October of 2000.
Yeah,
Jake
me
and I were
was-
both born in
yeah.
October 2000.
yeah.
So
your birthdays are
if
coming
it was at this time, neither one of us were here.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
We weren't here yet.
Nope. Yep.
Noel had a couple years on us.
I was chilling in some like preschool class, wearing some Iowa State gear.
Absolutely you were.
Tried not to piss my pants, probably.
No.
Like I said, I
been
was
Still
5
struggle
years
with that,
old.
buddy?
Not anymore. I think I figured that one out finally. Took a little while, but I figured it out.
Well, before we transition into the actual game, let's give a shout out to our presenting sponsor, Wyffels Hybrids.
Let's go Wyffels.
Yeah, shout out to Wyffels, who is an independent U.S. farm family-owned business. They, just like Iowa State here, and Matt Campbell and his team, they care about their business and their customers just like family. So if you sign on with Wyffels Hybrids, you know you're going to be treated very well. They're also huge supporters of Iowa State and Cyclone Fanatics. So shout out to them for being our presenting sponsor. And of course, the Ivy College of Business, big sponsor at Cyclone Fanatic. I mean, you guys told me last week, I didn't even know this. Your degrees are from the Ivy College of Business. And did you know they were voted 6 years in a row the #1 best MBA program in Des Moines?
Let's go.
Oh,
So
Look at that.
setting records.
yeah, get signed up, register, get a great degree. These guys are proof of it.
Yep. Best professors at Iowa State. Ivy College of Business.
Love it. So circling back to the game, I'll start with defense. So something the defense did was the Cyclones have held back-to-back opponents scoreless in the first half for the first time since at least 2013, according to Matt Schultz.
What's crazy about that is Coach Haycock is so good at his halftime adjustments that when he can shut a team out in the first half, it's like good luck trying to score any points because
Yeah.
I mean, I always remember like maybe they'd score a touchdown early on Coach Haycock, and then it was like he'd have his like he'd bring all his guys together on the sideline. He would like say what he needed to say. All of a sudden, it was like you get him to halftime. He talks with his coaches. They make their change, and it's like, yeah, they ain't gonna score again.
No.
So like all we got to do is do our job. Go get a couple points, good touchdown, whatever it is, because he's gonna shut them out. So the fact that he's like got it down to where his team's not scoring in the first half, I feel bad for the opposing coaches.
Yeah,
no
and the
doubt.
thing is about Coach Haycock, like just knowing Coach Haycock, he still saw so many things on that film that he was like mad about. Like he wanted to get back into the film room and fix right away. Just knowing him, just because, I mean, there's no like resting with Coach Haycock. I mean, he's always going to have the defense ready. And like Newell said, like if they're holding teams to 0 points in the first half, when Coach Haycock's really known for his second half adjustments, that's scary. And you hope that we can continue to do that as we go further on into Big 12 play.
You know what also is scary about that defense? Our secondary. Oh my gosh. They are fun to watch, and they come up, they hit people in the run game, and they play well in the pass game. And one person I want to shout out is Malik. Malik, probably one of my favorite teammates of all time. One, because, off the field, he's probably one of the nicest guys ever. He's always got a smile on his face. He's always positive. But then two, when he gets out on the field, he's a menace out there. He's flying around. He's laying the boom on guys. So, it's fun to watch him play, but even better as a person. That strip that he had was incredible. That was perfectly well punched. And, they preach that on the defensive side. Go get the ball. And they do drills for like punching drills and stuff like that. And, he's playing incredible. And I know that defense is better with him out there. I know he struggled with some injuries in his career, but when Malik Rodon is out there, same. When he is out there, he is a huge contributor to that defense. So
he's huge too. Like for safety to be that, what is he? 6'4", 6'5"?
Oh yeah.
He's 6'4", long strides when he runs too.
Yeah, he's and for an offensive lineman too. He will come up in the run game and he'll make his presence known. He won't. I'm not saying by any means
he's not shying away from contact.
Right. Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. He will come up there and he'll make it known that he's there to play football today. So,
but that's like all of our safeties. Like Jeremiah comes up and he makes some nice hits as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of our safeties do a really good job at coming up and making tackles and making it known that they're making a tackle, not just ankle biting.
Yeah, I remember, a couple times in practice they'd throw things up or around and they'd put Bo as a Mike linebacker, and as an offensive lineman, he would still be right there, and you couldn't tell the difference if he was playing safety or Mike linebacker. Like those guys are not scared of contact by any means.
No.
Well, and I don't know when I wanted to bring this up, but we still saw a lot of variety in who was out in the field. At one point Bo was out, and I believe it wasn't because anything was wrong. I think they said Campbell just wanted to throw someone else out there. I didn't double check this, but
I'm sure he wanted to give Cam Smith some run.
Absolutely.
He's that next safety up, and he's also capable of coming up and making tackles. I remember when he first got here, I think it was the first spring that he got here or something like that. I wasn't expecting him to come fill the hole as fast as he did. And he got my ankles so bad. Oh, yeah. But that just shows all of our safeties being a safety, you really want them to be able to come up and make tackles on running backs because, just being back there, being able to see everything. On running backs and also on tight ends, and our safeties do a really good job at that.
Yeah, it's critical in our defense for that guy has to be able to come downhill fast and make that open field tackle.
That's what happens when
because it's usually just one-on-one with them and one other person. Most of the time, if they don't make that tackle, then it's a big play. And you've seen that a couple of times, just getting gashed sometimes from running backs where it's just one-on-one and they might just make a move and make a miss, but they do a really good job otherwise.
Yeah, and I thought towards the last couple years of our careers, you saw more defenses try and play our defense. They're always trying to find something, whether it's a new coordinator or something. They always tried to play our defense, and no one really was successful at it. I remember hearing all the time, well, it's pretty much going to be our defense. They brought in a new coordinator from some D2 school, and they think he can play our defense, and they just never can because I don't know if it's recruiting or just they don't totally understand the concept of our defense. But we for sure have that down, and it's kind of cool.
I feel like they'd always be this is our defense from 2 years ago when we just first installed it.
Right.
Yeah. Not any of the – Haycock obviously threw his own twist in there and like we say his adjustments, but just his adjustments over the years, it's definitely just different than what it was at when they first got there.
Even as a player, you'd be out there at practice and you'd see some new blitz and you'd be like,
How
I don't know.
they do that?
I don't know how to like what?
You'd be on the sidelines and like, I don't know. So a coach would come up to us. What'd you see out there? I'm like, I don't know, coach. To be honest, I don't know. It looked like sword from the. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
What did you see?
Yeah, what did you see exactly? That's what
I mean, like whenever we were like you said, we'd hear like they're probably going to run our defense. Whenever I heard that in the offensive meeting, I was happy because like I knew nobody ran it like our defense. And then you just went all fall camp and everything running against that same defense. So I felt so much better playing when it was just a three down line.
You see more teams play it now too. It used to be kind of a hard adjustment for us to go from playing that defense in fall camp all the time to, going to play Iowa, a true four down school. UNI would be a true four down school. So a lot of times it was a hard adjustment, but I think you see odd more often than not in college football now, just because there's so many athletic defenders out there that can try to play the field.
And
D ends too, of course,
that they can use as an outside linebacker and sometimes bring them if they need to.
I'm sure there's some stat out there that has a percentage between 4 down teams in college and 3 down teams in college now, but
the Coach Haycock effect.
Yeah, absolutely
changed the game.
It did for sure.
Well, and I'm glad that you brought up just the running backs, because I really wanted to start when we look at the offense with you, Jirehl, just looking at Abu Sama finally got his touchdown. I've been wanting to see him run that. Also, by throwing this at you guys, I don't know if you've seen this, but Jalen Jackson and Abu Sama each had runs of 50 yards, which marks it the first time since 2010 that 2 Cyclones had runs of 50 yards in the same game.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah,
so I'd love to know your thoughts.
I mean, like I said last week, like I think Jalen Jackson is like the best like running back runner that we have on our team. Abu is obviously just the most gifted. Like he can turn any run into a home run. You know what I mean? And then having Carson Hansen as a third running back off, I think that's just a really good running back tandem. I think Abu is just a big play waiting to happen, and big props to Huff on that play. Like he literally just shied at him straight. He was like, "No, go this way, go this way, go this way."
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, no. I mean,
the best part about that play with Huff is if you watch the replay, he thought about blocking someone kind of to the side a little bit. But being a 6-year player, okay, probably shouldn't touch that guy. There's so many rules nowadays. So I thought that was a hezzy move from him to like kind of like think about checking that guy, but good hezzy move from him.
Pump fake.
Yep.
No, but I thought they took advantage of all the opportunities that they got. And almost having two backs rush for 100 yards. I mean, I think Jalen had 96 and Abu had like 117 or something like that. That's obviously really good. We're going to need that for games coming up because I don't know if you guys seen it a lot, but teams are really starting to key in on Jaden and Jalen. So I think getting that run game going and continuing to get better with it every week is only going to help us as we continue to go on in the Big 12.
It's funny. It's like the opposite of when we had Brees. Yep. Everyone was keying in on Brees. They'd throw 8-9 guys in the box, and you're like, oh my gosh, we don't have enough hats to block for this guy, but he would make it work. But it's funny now we have 2 wide receivers that everyone wants to try to contain. So
I think my biggest takeaway on everything was Iowa State won the turnover battle again, which has been a huge part of their success this season. And that's something that's like heavily tracked inside those walls and Ames. The 72
it's hard to lose when you do that.
Yeah, the 72 passing yards to me that our defense gave up is just a stat that's like crazy. Like I feel like as Iowa State, we had Brock had like 150 yards or something like that. So over twice as many yards. We're like, wow, it's kind of a low passing day. So if you cut that in half again, it would be like that's like one long pass to Jalen or Jaden down the middle, and it's like that's all we had the whole day.
Absolutely.
And then the 240 yards rushing. I mean, like that offensive line has just continued to grow this year. And I think, we showed a little bit of diversity this game and saying, hey, we can't just throw the ball. We can actually run the ball too. And I think a lot of that's credit to obviously tight ends and running backs and coaches there. But that offensive line has taken a lot of steps to be able to move people. Line of scrimmage, where that line of scrimmage is moving to, is giving us a lot of opportunities for those 4 or 5 yard runs instead of 1 or 2 yard runs. When you're at 2nd and 6 instead of 2nd and 9, the playbook opens up. You get opportunities to take shots. You get to stay ahead of the sticks, and you get a lot of opportunities. So that certainly is one thing that I would say is a huge takeaway for me, is that offensive line continues just to grow, be able to move people. And I think you're kind of seeing still guys getting reps. Like there's not just like 1 or 2 guys that are rotating. Like we're getting a lot of positions where guys are coming in and giving them a blow for a series or something like that. So that's huge, and also huge for building depth going forward.
Yeah, what's fun to me when I watch the O-line is, I mean, obviously I was there last year, so I can kind of see things that I look familiar to me, like scheme and stuff like that. And I just think there's a lot of growth still to be made too. Like we are Newell's right. The line of scrimmage has, at least the first 4 weeks, has been getting moved. That line of scrimmage is going in the favor of us, and that's fun to see. But you still see things out there like, oh my gosh, like these guys still have some work to do, and they could get even better. There's guys out there that that have not played a ton of football, so it's really fun to see. Like this is only game 4, and the offensive line is already looking in sync, and they look like they work well together, which is really cool to see. I don't think we don't talk enough about Brendan Black and Tyler Miller on the right side. Those two work really well together. Played obviously next to each other last year. I think they're both great players, and they really do a good job. I see them out there communicating a lot. So I always was a big communicator out there. Newell will tell you I was yelling more often than not. But so I love communicating, and they look like they're all out there communicating well, picking up blitzes really well, I think. I'll be on the TV sometimes, and I'll be like, "Oh, blitz!" And they're like, "Oh, they already got it. They know it's coming." So, I think
I swear I'm keyed in on.
Oh yeah.
Still.
Oh yeah.
Still.
Third down blitzes, you see them coming. They do it once, and you're like, God, I know what their flavor of the week is.
Right. It's always the flavor of the week.
Man.
But one point I wanted to touch on regarding that is when Clayton got there, he really had a huge emphasis on learning defenses. Which I think is now coming into play. I know it takes some time to get stuff like that. You can't do it all in 1 year in your first year being the O-line coach. So you really start to see some of those things where I saw last year he was starting to implement, and you really see things this year coming together. So that's really fun to see.
Well, Jaden Higgins did have himself a day. He has now caught a touchdown pass in 6 straight games, which is breaking a school record.
That's crazy.
I know. So
and he should have broke it the one before on that one-handed catch. That was
my
nice.
Gosh,
that was nice.
Yeah.
That was
when
nice.
they took it away, I was like, dang, that would have made such
that would have been a real right. Did you see Brad posted that? Brad posted it on Twitter today.
Yeah,
and
I did see that
with the
shout out Brad,
the, sad emoji. Yeah, shout out Brad with the sad emoji. I was like, yeah, man, that was a nice catch.
That was a nice catch.
I feel like I had something similar happen at the last home game where I think it was him. He caught it, and then they were like, nope, just kidding. And it was like, oh, great. There goes those pictures.
Yeah.
Did you find it? Yep.
Here it is.
This is so good.
It's just like,
look at that.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Wow.
Yeah. He's
That's
awesome.
incredible.
I'm really enjoying watching Jaden Higgins play this season.
He's gotten so much better. I feel like he's always been a stud, but he's grown so much with run after catch too. Like he was on that yesterday.
Yeah, I think that first spring that he showed up at Iowa State, and we were I think it was like doing 7-on-7 or just running routes or something like that. And he was catching the ball. I was like, okay, this dude's a freak. Like he was catching things that. Like catching with a weird body angles, I was like, all right, yeah, he's gonna be that red zone threat for sure.
Yeah.
So of course, like we said, Iowa State did have some moments. It wasn't necessarily the prettiest 20-0 win, which I will say, I think it's a compliment maybe, or a good thing, in that we can walk out of a game like this and be like, okay, they took care of business, 20-0. We've listed all the accolades that came with it, but there's still so much room for improvement, which says a lot about the type of team I think we'll see like end of October. But I would definitely love to get your guys' thoughts on how you saw Iowa State play in that first half. What do you think they really need to adjust to come into next week when they host Baylor, who, again, they're favored against Baylor, so they're in good position. But obviously there's a lot of improvements that can help them get to that next step.
Yeah, I think, just looking at the game from a viewer's perspective now, it's fun to be able to say that you might be able to win a couple games because you're just more talented than a team. That's not always been Iowa State's case. And it's a nice thing. So you can have a game like yesterday where you're still trying to find an identity, slow first half, and at the end of the day, you win the game just because you're more talented. And I know, especially early on in our career, there's no way we were guaranteed to win at all.
Based off talent.
Oh, yeah, based off talent. And so it's fun to see stuff like that, and it provides good opportunities to, continue to grow and stuff. One thing I did want to mention was, injuries. I'm the injury guy, so I'm always looking out for that kind of thing. We did get a little banged up yesterday, a little bit. I saw John Klosterman looked like he was in a boot on the sidelines, which would be another linebacker down, so that's not great. I know Huff got injured late in the game. Hopefully
Steve-O didn't play.
Steve-O didn't play. Rocco had KT tape, I believe it's called, on his throwing shoulder. So I don't know if that's just soreness or whatnot, but that's something to monitor, I suppose. Sometimes you just wear tape, though, because it feels better and more protective.
Sometimes it looks cool, too.
It does look cool sometimes.
That's a position player speaking.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just looks cool.
That's like that turf tape, right? Or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Like, we play on grass.
Yeah, you play on grass. So you were still...
We play on grass, and we're up here with turf tape still.
Yeah.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
No, I hear you, but yeah, hopefully we can stay healthy though. That was my one thing, is coming off a game like that, you just want to get out of there healthy, and hopefully a couple of those injuries that we had yesterday weren't too severe. I know, it all matters when you get back in on Sunday and see, kind of reassess, reevaluate. But the Huff one was tough to see. I really hope that's not extensive, because we've talked about it. The center is a crucial part, and it's lucky that we do have Jim, who we still have, that ran the center position last year. So, but hoping that we can stay healthy, because at the end of the day, we control our own destiny right now. So it's fun.
Yeah,
good place to be.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say like the first part of that game. In the first half, you can definitely just nitpick and point out the obvious reasons why we weren't moving the ball. I mean, third downs we weren't very good on. We were kind of inaccurate with some throws. Especially the ones to the field. Like, those are hard throws to make, and Rocco will be able to make those throws when it comes down to it. Sometimes some of those balls to the field just sail. I mean, and that kind of puts us in tougher positions to convert when it's a long, like Newell said earlier, when it's 2nd and 9 instead of 2nd and 6, it's a little bit harder to convert on some of those downs. But other than that, I mean, I feel like second half, they kind of cleaned up a lot of the mistakes that happened in the first half. And that's what you want to see out of a team like this, especially when, the second half of the year, when you're going up against those, teams like Utah and Kansas State, where they'll give you a little bit more fight and a little bit more pushback, because it's going to be towards the time to figure out who's going to the Big 12 championship. Those are, having a second half where you can come back and be a lot better than you were in the first half. That's important, and it's good to get those type of games under your belt here and now, so it's not like a shock to you once you get into them later on.
I think that the biggest thing that I've kind of noticed this year on this team is explosive plays, big plays, right? When do they happen? We've seen a lot of them happen in the past game, and it's been on drive 1 to Jaden Higgins touchdown. It's been big pass across the middle to Jalen Noel. It's been a lot of big plays. And I feel like we got a lot of those big plays in the second half. So how can we get those rolling maybe a little bit earlier in the first half and just, get in a good position there? But obviously credit to Houston. They had a lot of freak athletes on that team. They were fast. They were a good defense. And like I said earlier, like they just got blown out last week, got blown out again this week. Like that's a tough thing. Like they just had a ton of motivation, I'm sure, coming out, like going out there playing for their coach and everything. So but a 20-0 win. I mean, they never paint a picture about it. You see the score, you see 20-0, and you say we got a W out of that game. So I'm big like, hey, go in there. Let's see what we did, what we didn't do well, and you're always able to take that game film a little bit better when you still won and you can still get better. So there's a lot to look forward because of that.
I think, just knowing Mouse, I feel like this is still the tip of the iceberg here. Like it's only his 4th game calling an offense. I feel like it's a long season left. And I'm sure he's got, a lot of things still yet to be seen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And like Jake said, I mean, from Mouse, I feel like we haven't seen a lot of different things. I mean, we have kind of gotten the tight ends included into the offense, not much. I'd like to see in the past game, I'd like to see some other people get some opportunity. Obviously, a lot of the attention's going to Jaden and Jalen. In the past game, you saw Carson Brown get in there and make a few catches and a few plays for us. I'd like to see the tight ends get utilized a little bit more just so we can kind of take the pressure off of Jaden and Jalen on the outsides and, bring the defense in a little bit more.
We know what happened to Eli Green. I feel like I haven't seen much of him lately after that first game where I was like, damn, who's this guy?
He was out there.
Yeah, he was out there. Well, yeah. I think he had a couple of targets maybe. I think Jalen went down with a calf, like it was a cramp.
Cramping.
He was cramping. Hopefully it was just cramps. I don't know. I didn't see him a little bit later into that game.
No, he didn't play much after that, but
there wasn't much reason for him to go in after that, to be 100% honest. The game was kind of when a defense is playing like that, no matter how many points you put up, it's kind of handled in a way.
And you know how cramps are too. Once you start cramping for the first time, that can go on all afternoon.
Man,
yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Catching the midnight cramp when you're like getting home from a game and you're laying in bed just about asleep and you catch a
that's
cramp.
the worst.
No, the worst is on the plane. The worst is on the plane.
Yeah,
that's the worst cramp you can get is on the plane.
I can't even imagine getting a cramp on a plane.
It happens every week.
It happens. Yeah,
Especially early in the season when it's hot out. There wasn't much cramping in the plane after the Kansas State game. Let's just say that.
No, I'm sure not. I'm sure you were freezing.
Yep.
Just a lot of frostbite.
Yep.
When I know we ironically talked about you guys talk about being creatures of habit and only focusing on one game. Does it make you uncomfortable to think about the Big 12 and Iowa State's current placement in the Big 12 as like a big picture, like looking ahead to like you said, you can start talking about Dallas, you can start making feeling confidence towards that. How do you think Iowa State's looking right now when you kind of look at the big picture? Obviously, it's still really early.
It's in Vegas this year, right?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Well, isn't that where the Big 12 Media Day was? In Vegas?
Yeah, you are right.
I think they only moved Big 12 Media Days. I'm pretty sure the championship game is still in Dallas because I think that's why the new fans were mad because they wanted the championship game to start a round robin and everybody was like, no. They didn't double check that, but I'm pretty positive it's Dallas.
Well, regardless, big picture, I mean, you got to feel pretty good.
Arlington,
yeah.
Cool.
It is. But regardless, you got to feel pretty good on where you're sitting. I mean, you got, but at the end of the day, the Big 12 is wide open still. Anyone can beat anyone any given week. We saw that yesterday. If you would have told me Arizona would have beat Utah at home, no chance. I would have thought so. Anyone can beat anyone any given week, and we got Baylor and Baylor. Regardless, I think about our 2020 game against Baylor, night game in the Jack, very similar. They were not noted or called a good team that year. Baylor was, but at the end of the day, they recruit athletes and they have a lot of good players. So regardless of their record, Baylor has people that can beat you. And I'm sure Campbell is probably saying that today or someone. I haven't even really extensively watched Baylor by any means. But they're going to have some home run hitter on offense. They're going to have some defender that's going to be a very good player. And they can turn games around. So, every week's going to be different. And we just got to focus on winning one game at a time. I know that's kind of like the player talk right there, but it's kind of true. That's all you can really think about. So,
right.
But I did see a prediction today on Twitter that us against Alabama in the college football playoff or something like that.
I saw that.
I was like, that's
that was
pretty
like
sweet.
that was like that troll pay. That was if the college football playoff was seeded as like the power rankings right now.
Right.
They have us as fourth. But I saw that too.
The Big 12 winner. The Big 12 winner. So,
Yeah.
But I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh, that would be insane. Imagine Alabama versus Iowa State in Jack Trice Stadium.
That'd be lit.
I don't know. I don't know if Rory Walling would. I don't know who you'd be going with there.
Yeah.
Is he a big Alabama fan?
Their family likes Alabama. So I don't know how.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. But yeah, seeing stuff like that, that's pretty sweet. Like, I don't care if it happens or not, but we're week 4 and people are already predicting Alabama versus Iowa State. Like, let's go.
Makes me uncomfortable.
I mean, like, obviously, like, as fans, we can kind of buy into the looking at the conference standings and stuff and a lot earlier now. But as a player, like, you just have to remember, like, you could lose the next game and all of that be gone. So, like, 100%. Why even look at it? Why even look at it now? I mean, it's college football. Crazier things have happened.
Absolutely.
You could be at the top of the leaderboard and then fall to the bottom very fast. So I think just looking towards the next week and really the next day, the next period of practice, that's kind of how you just have to take it period by period, I guess.
And speaking of Alabama, you watched the game last night. And you're like, oh my gosh, Alabama is so good. Like they're crazy. They have crazy talent. But Alex Golesh and the Fighting Bulls down in South Florida competed with them for three quarters, 3 full quarters until obviously they came on top. But that's college football. And I mean Golesh he's a great coach. So I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but. That's college football. USF can go compete with Alabama in Tuscaloosa for 3 quarters better than Georgia did. So,
yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's exciting. I think what's cool about it is this is an Iowa State's first go around, right? Like this team is a very mature team. It's not like they're doing any sort of like first really anymore. Like Coach Campbell's won 56 games, 57 games. What is it? 57 games. Like he's been he's been here and he's done a lot of this stuff now. So he's been through it. A lot of these players have seen like they've been on the 2020 team. They've been on. They've ridden these waves through Iowa State. So I think it's a mature team. The way you watch them play, you can tell it's not all about me. It's a lot about the team. And as long as it continues to be that, I mean, I think the prime example of that's the running backfield. We got 3 guys getting a ton of carries and all making big plays without production slipping for any of them. So I think it's one of those things that we certainly can. As a fan, you can look forward to it, but like right now, you got a good head coach coming in to play you this week. So I think that's something that you can't overlook. And just naturally, I feel like all of us are like, all right, we just got to win the next game. But like as a fan, it's like, hey, like this is kind of sweet. We got a team that could.
Let's enjoy this. Yeah, let's enjoy this. Yeah. Like you never know what it's at.
As a fan, you're trying to plan your trip to Dallas with buying a hotel and all that. But as a player, that when that comes, it's already paid for and everything. Like so, just focus on getting there.
Yep.
And let's enjoy this week. Why don't we? Like white out, We can talk about it all day.
Get a little
I'll be up
juicy
there
wiggle going in the third quarter, fourth
with
quarter.
the pom poms too, the white pom poms.
Oh, that's
Imagine
lit.
you so
how
pumped?
that's gonna look with the white.
Jake's gonna be.
Oh, absolutely! I love the juicy wiggle dance. It's my favorite thing. I used to do on the sidelines all the time.
He's not kidding.
Oh man, sidelines. Yeah.
You
Let's
gotta
get
let me
maybe
know
a-
where you're sitting.
Let's get a little swag surfing back maybe this week.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
would love that.
Yeah, let's get a little of that going.
Every time I
Yeah,
hear
love
that
that.
song, it makes me want to run through a wall.
I know that was fun that
That
year in
was so
2020.
much fun.
Yeah.
That's why I pulled out
So
my
much fun.
5-star culture sweatshirt.
Hey, let's go.
Pulled it out for today. This was specially made for me by Mike, our guy at the CF
go.
shop, so I could wear it in Dallas.
Buy your CF merch. Buy the merch.
Yeah.
Great merch.
No, I'm excited. Jirehl, are you going to the game?
Right there.
I don't even know where you live.
I'm in names.
Okay.
I'm in names. But
Yeah, why don't?
I'll be tailgating. I have a pregnant girlie with me, so I don't know if I'll be going to the game. But yeah,
I'll be up there. I'll be
Jake will
watching.
have
I'll be
Jake
there.
will have pom poms for himself and you.
He'll take your pom pom.
Yeah. I'm gonna find all those pom poms. I can't wait for those.
Gonna have pink pom poms around the shroom.
Yeah.
You better have a pom pom hanging by your jersey back there, Jake, for next week.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I want the white pom poms.
I want like
for the
4.
podcast.
If you guys see me at the game and you have any extra pom poms, give me your pom poms after the game.
Jake's gonna be out there like,
I can't wait for that, dude. That's sweet.
Well, Iowa State will take on Baylor next weekend. Like we've said several times, it's a whiteout. They're coming out in their white uniforms. It's going to be great. So
Night game.
I'm excited to see how this goes. It's going to be a fun night in Jack Trice. As we've said, get your tickets, buy your merch. And yeah, there's going to be fireworks and white pom poms. So
5-0.
Let's get Ames going next weekend. Like
yeah,
let's get the juice rolling. We're 4-0.
I mean, like literally, it's been since 2000 that we've been like this.
No, I think Ames will be rocking regardless. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I might go on Friday. I don't even know.
Do it. Friday night.
Friday night, my name's. Be there.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. As always, InCYde Zone presented by Wyffels Hybrids and our sponsor, Iowa State University Ivy College of Business. We will be back next week.